Hello, welcome to class number 30,878 of the MahaKaruna Dharani. So, to be precise, 35, the falling river. I love this one. Mudra is quite simple for this one, holding the hand up with fingers a bit apart, like if you're holding a little Buddha in your hand. Take a breath, relax, enjoy your favorite beverage. Whatever it means for you, plenitude as a state of being. Focus on that. Plenitude. What does it mean? Not sure. It's not mindfulness. Plenitude is a feeling. So be in plenitude. Plenitude. You could say, even if something is missing in your life, plenitude is a sense of satisfaction. But it is not the satisfaction of a specific object of satisfaction. Plenitude. How am I going to explain this mantra? It's the literal translation of the mantra and the symbolic meaning are so different. But the literal translation is fun. Okay, so we'll start with that. Om Chandra Bahom Jari Garan Jari Na Jari Ni Humpa, which could be a river rises from the moon and splashes on me, whoosh. Okay? Something like that. But the meaning is so different. So let's go step by step. Yeah. Okay. So first, Chandra Bahum. Okay. In Buddhism, the moon is a symbol of the mind. Not limited to the intellect, but the entire psyche. Okay. Something important about the symbol of the moon is that it does not emit light. Rather, it reflects the light of the sun. But it produces light through reflection. The moon itself is passive. And this is how we want our mind in the Buddhist view. Now, it's not limited to Buddhism, because the Nilakanta Sutra, which was the Hindu version of the MahaKaruna Dharani Sutra, the Nilakanta Sutra was Hindu and it still had that contemplation. The moon in Hindu tradition is on Shiva's forehead, a bit higher than the third eye. Okay? And there's a river coming out. So in this case, a waterfall or a river gushing out of the moon is quite Hindu. Okay? But that's something the Buddhists preserved in the tradition. Okay? So Chandra Bahum. Bahu means a lot by itself. But in context, it means plenitude. Okay, so it's not just a lot, it's fulfilled. So Chandra Bahum, more than a full moon, it means the moon in a state of plenitude. It's poetic. Okay, so the moon being the mind, that is not making an effort to think, but just reflects the light of the soul, okay, or the superior being. This is how our mind is. This is how we want to contemplate our mind for that practice. Chandra Bahum, okay? So, Chandra Bahum, my mind is in a state of plenitude. And the image I have is of a full moon, but the full moon is a feeling. Okay. In this way, there's a form of mindfulness, but it's very contemplative. It's almost transcendental, Chandra Bahum, a feeling of plenitude in my entire mind. While what we want with mindfulness in the recent tradition is to be focused on the ground, on the earth. Okay. Let's do a parenthesis here. Chandra Bahum, a mind in state of plenitude, is much closer to the meaning of mindfulness than the Siddhi Manasvin. Manasvin apparently means mindfulness in Buddhism, but here's a little historical correction. The word mindfulness was cornered or identified by Thich Nhat Hanh, who started teaching, 50, 60 years ago. So Manasvin, that existed for thousands of years, cannot have meant mindfulness until extremely recently, where people said, it's mindfulness. Manasvin is keep your intellect. So it's not the entire psyche of the moon. It's just the intellect on nature. So pay attention to what you're doing profoundly. In up to a supernatural point of incarnation. So it's not just pay attention, is have your mind completely sink in your body and be aware of the environment and the thing you are doing as a soul. So yes, it's more than pay attention. It is incarnate, invade your physical self with everything above, but mostly the intellect. Focus on what you are physically. Okay, so that's Manasvin. And in a way, there's a mindfulness there, but it's much more be incarnate in nature. Okay? If we go to Chandra Bahum, which is the topic of this class, it's the main topic of the class. There's a mindfulness, but it's not yet incarnate in the body, but it is a proper attitude. It's a feeling of being immersed in that sensation, plenitude. A satisfaction not based on a desire to feel filled by the self in your mind. Not just the intellect, but everything that is your psyche. Chandra Bahum. Okay? It will become mindfulness if we apply this to the body and nature, but not yet. Om Chandra Bahum Jari Garana Jari Na Jari Ni Humpat. Jari is a river unless it's accompanied by another word. In this case, the expression Jari Garana. Okay. Just make sure how I spelled it in the document. Yeah, that's good. So Jari Garan with the final A almost mute. Jari Garan. And it means a river, but falling from the sky with sprinkles and sparkles. You know, like little extra drops of water on the side. It's beautiful. Okay. So the moon is filled with a river falling down from it. It's beautiful, it's symbolic. But what we want is my mind in complete plenitude fills me like a waterfall with the little beautiful sparkles around. Okay? So that's the following expression, Jari Garana, falling from. Garana also means something that has to do with the throat, or swallow if you want. So swallow is when you put the content of your mouth inside. So Garana is the waterfall. It's not falling over you, but inside you, from the higher planes into your mind of plenitude and filling you up. Okay, so that's Jari Garana, a vertical river gushing out from the soul into you, and you are in a state of plenitude. Chandra Bahum Jari Garana. Chandra Bahum Jari Garana. Chandra Bahum Jari Garana. The two next words, Jarina and Jarini, are romantic, in my opinion. Jarina is not the river, but the riverbed. What is the riverbed? It is physical mass. It's hard. It is a channel dug into the earth, like a receptacle, but not a bowl. It's not a bowl where everything's closed. It's a receptacle with the form of a bowl, but no beginning and nor end. That's a riverbed. So it's like a bowl forever. It's cool. That's Jarana. It's the hard mass of the body. It's nature. It's the world. Okay, it's the physical plane. In this case, vital and physical plane. So the waters of plenitude, or the feeling of plenitude that falls into us, reaches the physical realm, our body and the environment where we are. And it fills it. That's Jarina. Okay. There we've got mindfulness, because you are in the body, in the state of plenitude. And the last word, Jarini. Jarini means the substance of the water in a river, or, and this is where it gets beautiful, a woman ready to be seduced, or to seduce, like a woman ready for romantic experience. Okay, not necessarily a sexual intercourse, more like the being with its lover. Okay, so the lover in this case is Jarina, and Jarini is the water of the river embracing the riverbed. Jarini is that river embracing the land and its form, its channel form, and flowing in it, feeling itself inside the container, inside the riverbed. Okay? And because Jarini also means a woman ready for romance, it is romantic, of a river marrying itself to the riverbed, or a substance, a liquid, in this case consciousness. Consciousness always respects the mechanics of fluids. That feeling of plenitude that comes from a perfected mind flows down through us and fills us in the body and in the environment, as the soul wants to court the mass, wants to be with it, and flow inside nature. A similar expression, if you want, is, I was doing something with the breath decades ago. Through the breath, the soul makes love to the body. As you breathe in, the soul embraces the body. As you breathe out, the joy of the soul through the mass. And through a breath, the soul makes love to the body. Now through consciousness, plenitude comes from the mind in the body and experiences it romantically. Not erotically, romantically. Like lovers. Romance suggests eros later, maybe. But it is of a moment where satisfaction is not the goal. When you think about satisfaction, you might go to actual physical satisfaction. But romance is not focused on obtaining that satisfaction of copulating. Romance is to just be there, and that is plenitude. In this case, the lovers is the soul and the body. And that happens with a mind in a state of plenitude, allowing the higher consciousness to gush down, fill us, and flow in the world. And we let ourselves seized by that. In the book, the word homfat I've translated as whoosh, and I imagined the backward movement, whoosh, because I found it funny, of course. And that's how I felt it. Let myself surprised by this, that feeling. So from a state of plenitude, we allow consciousness to fall like a waterfall into the body and flow and enjoy mass. This is how the lovers are joined. Om Chandra Bahom Jari Garana Jarina Jarini Hom Fat. This Hom Fat is not explosive, it is seizing. Takes us. Om Chandra Bahom Jarina Jari Garana Jarina Jarini Hom Fat. Om Chandra Bahom Jari Garana Jarina Jarini Hom Fat. Say it slowly at your rhythm and always follow the sheet with its complex mantras. Speak of the mudra. I think they call it the Nirmana mudra. Yeah, okay. The Nirmana is the concept of receiving Buddhahood or receiving a Buddha. Okay, so in the left hand you have a little Buddha. It's not a Buddha statue. It's a symbol of Buddhahood that you're passively holding in the left hand. This is my left hand. Remember, the video flips it. Okay, so you're just holding your hand up. It doesn't need to be precise as the picture, but you can make an effort if you really want. You're receiving it relaxed. Receiving Buddhahood. Your main effort is just a relaxed state of plenitude in your mind. Chandra Bahum. Chandra Bahum. And a seasoning of the body, the world. That's the Jarigarana, Jarina, Jarini, so precious, Home Pad. Give yourself time to go into this state of simple plenitude and let it reach the body. It is simple. When you lose that feeling, maybe you want to check what made you lose the feeling. Well, if you do it long enough, you'll get used to it. That's not losing the feeling, that's just becoming acquainted with it, making it normal. But let's say something offends you or something disturbs you and you lose your centered plenitude. When an event is stressful enough that it causes turbulence in the waters and it's not harmoniously feeling like lovers, it's not flowing anymore. Jarina, Jarini. Okay, so when you lose that is when you'll want to do personal growth, which we don't do this week. Now we contemplate on the fact that it works, the plenitude, the love of the soul with the human, the mind, calm, peaceful, the mind like a full moon, the emotions are just happy to be there, peaceful, filled from consciousness. And we will now repeat it slowly 21 times. We take our time. I'm just going to count and show you where I'm at. Okay, sometimes. Om Chandra Bahum Jari Garana Jarina Jarini Hum Pat. Om Chandra Bahum Jari Garana Jarina Jarini Hum Pat. Om Chandra Bahum Jari Garana Jarina Jarini Hum Pat. Om Chandra Bahum Jarina Jari Garana Jarina Jarini Hum Pat. Om Chandra Bahum Jari Garana Jarina Jarini Hum Pat. Om Chandra Bahum Jari Garana Jarina Jarini Hum Pat. Om Chandra Bahum Jari Garana Jarina Jarini Hum Pat. Om Chandra Bahum Jari Garana Jarina Jarini Hum Pat. Om Chandra Bahum Jari Garana Jarina Jarini Hum Pat. Om Chandra Bahum Jari Garana Jarina Jarini Hum Pat. Om Chandra Bahum Jarigarana Jarina Jarini Humpat. Om Chandrabahum. 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 Jarigarana Jarina Jarini Humpat. That's 21. Again, it's difficult not to think about class, what I'm actually teaching. And I'm not used to this mantra. It's not one of the mantras I've done 10,000 times. It's a mantra I've done just the minimum to be able to teach it. And I messed up a few syllables, but you get the gist of it. That's what matters. Om Chandrabahum. Jarigarana Jarina Jarini Humpat. Plenitude. Something similar between the moon and a river. It's reflection. Light reflecting in the sky. The mind. Light reflecting in the river, on the water. The imagination. Indicating it is passive. You want to calm your mind and not make an effort. Om Chandrabahum. Jarigarana Jarina Jarini Humpat. Have your body involved and the meditation on everything around. State of plenitude. A deep breath. Good. For this initiation, I feel that it's more important for you to contemplate that emancipated experience of plenitude. So I don't want to lose you in various integrations. And you know what? It's fine. Because for this seal to work, for this mantra to work, it's more about relaxing the mind. Allowing yourself to fall into the proper state instead of making an effort into the proper state. Let it happen. It's going to be a nice week of soft contemplation, and you will feel yourself. You'll feel your soul, your being. And something beyond your being and beyond the nature is going to flow. And you are the riverbed. And you are the water flowing. You're the consciousness going through. You're all of it. All right. And that was this class. Enjoy. See you next week.